All right, so here's where we're at. We have a word which the user gave us, which was what, and we turned it all to uppercase. We created this small array, which has the first two letters. We created another small array, which has the first letter, and we have this pig word, which has is empty. Now, just as an example, in the event that we know that this is a Rule 1 situation, but we could be dealing with a different, like a Rule 3 situation or a Rule 2 situation. So I'm just going to draw a little picture here. This is what we would have if we were dealing with a Rule 1 situation. Our word would be, a Rule 2 situation. Our word would be awe, for example. And we would still have this with the first two letters in it. And we would still have this with the first letter in it. And we would still have our pig word, which we have not created yet. So this would be the scenario in the event that we're doing Rule 2. This would be the scenario in the event that we were doing Rule 1. And of course, if it was Rule 3, it would be the same idea, only say our word was car, and our 2 would have the first two letters, and our 1 would have the first letter, and of course the pig would be the same. So this is Rule 3, this is Rule 1, and this is Rule 2. So it wouldn't really matter. It would just be whichever word the user entered, we would still do the same procedure to create the different arrays and turn them all to uppercase and all of that. So now let's figure out how we need to determine which rule it is. So just let's go back to refresh that the rules are as follows. Rule 1 is if it starts with a TH, CH, SH, PH, WH, or QU. Rule 2 is if it starts with a vowel. And Rule 3 is anything else. So let's go up here to an empty slide and let's see how we would do that. Well, the way that I would do it, one way to do it, there's always more than one way to do it. We could use string member functions. So to check for the clusters, we could compare. We could use string compare, strcmp, to compare the array called 2. If you look back, the array called 2 stores the first two characters. So we could use this function string compare, and we could compare it against any of the clusters. So say the first cluster we want to compare is WH. And if they are the same, string compare will return a 0. And we could use a logical OR to compare the different clusters. Now my suggestion would be to put maybe 2 comparisons in one condition. So that would be Rule 1. Then you could use an else if and do the same kind of string compare for QU and SH and CH, and then do another else if for CH and PH. And that, of course, is not code, but that would be all the comparisons for Rule 1. Then I would use an else if to do Rule 2. To do Rule 2, you just compare the first character, word at index 0 equals A, or word at index 0 equals E. Okay, so I would use compare A and E, and then that would be for Rule 2. And I would use another else if to do an I, a O, and a U. And of course that's not code either, but it would follow this same example. And then you would have a last else so that you could, and that of course would be Rule 3. So just to review, I would use string compare If you string compare the array 2, which stores the 2 characters with a WH, and that returns a 0, it means they're the same. And over here, I forgot to do the equals. I needed to add here the equals 0. So I would compare WH and TH and QU and SH and CH and PH. It would not be very good programming to put it all in one huge logical OR with 6 different comparisons. I would just do an if and a couple more else ifs. And then I would have an else if to compare the vowels A, E, I, O, and U. And you would do that by comparing the first character in the word. And then if it doesn't follow rule 1 and it doesn't follow rule 2, then it would follow rule 3. And in the next video, we are going to do applying the rules.